Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To all students, and very good morning. Uh, I believe that you still stay put in the house and also in your hostel. For those not go back to hometown, yeah. So we need to obey to the instruction of the government. So stay put and relax. Don't uh, don't be stressed and positive thinking about the COVID-19. Okay, anyway, we need to continue our class, BITP 223. Uh, last 3 weeks, I think we stopped at chapter 6, finding classes via use case analysis. So this step is very important for you to discover the object and classes, because the object and classes is very important for developer to continue or uh, to for them to create the program or logic for their system requirement. Okay, I think this chapter 6 I need to this is just for uh, we review again finding classes before we start to another chapter 7. Okay, finding classes via use case analysis. Firstly, what you need to do is you need to complete your use case description. Uh, like I mentioned to you in the last lab. So after you define your use case, so you need to describe your use case description for each of your use cases. Okay, and what you need to stress, or you need to mention, or what you need to write in your use case description is the three things. Yeah. So any writing about your use case description, so you need to bias into three object stereotype. They call it boundary, controller, and entity. So you need to mention in your use case description which uh, which object classes that you involve. You involve in performing uh, certain function. Okay, let's say the use case start when the user click or select uh, student student registration screen, for example. So this is type of boundary. Okay, uh, the system verify the student information by submitting the data to the student database. So student database is an entity. So the system, when you look at the term, the word which is repeated frequently in your use case description, so we can decide that that is the controller of your application. So the system, for example, the system, so the system become the controller. So this three stereotype is very important when you write your use case description. Okay, so the process of the process of uh, recording, or writing the use case description is not end after you finish describe your use case description. So you need to follow this step. Okay, So after you write your use case description and practice yourself, you start with the basic flow first. Okay, after you describe your use case description, the preconditions, who is the actor, and then start to write the basic flow of the function. For example, admit patient. Okay, start with the basic flow of admit patient. Okay, um, forget about the alternative flow or exceptional flow. Okay, you start with the basic. Start with the simple one. So this will avoid you from headache. Yeah? Okay, I need to check my software to recording this one, recording our lecture. Okay, after you after you write the basic flow, so you need to classify the object stereotype. Mark the object stereotype, for example, controller or boundary or entity, by underline it. So if you don't want to underline, it's okay. So you just mark it. Mark means you identify uh, the class or object is a candidate. It's a candidate for you to use that object or class become your program next in the next process. Okay, based on the discovered object discovered, when you already identify the object or classes in your use case description, so what you need to do is you diagram, try to diagram the object in the class diagram. So right in the class diagram, I give you example. For example, right in the initial class diagram, like this one. Okay, you go to your tool, for example, Star UML or Microsoft Visual. Write your class diagram like this one. For the system, okay, the system, and also the admission script. So at this stage, you discover two object, two object, which is become a class. Okay, so this is a result of result after you refine your use case description. So another object is discovered. They call it patient admission database. Then after that, you need to go to your class diagram and update it. Okay, so this is uh, a process how you model your requirement. You realize your requirement into the object classes. Okay, class. So this is step how you want to model your class that you discover from the use case description. Okay, before we go further, okay, I need to explain to you regarding interaction diagram. Okay, so this is a next step after you diagram your class. You diagram your class into class diagram. So you need to create the sequence diagram. Okay, or we call it interaction diagram. Interaction diagram is a general term, how the object interact between one object to another object. So in UML they call it sequence diagram. Maybe another tools they call another name. But the most important thing that you need to understand the purpose of the interaction diagram. Okay, so the interaction diagram or the interaction of object, in UML we use a sequence diagram. So from now we talk about sequence diagram. Okay, so in sequence diagram they have a message. Okay, they have message. This is a message. Okay, and then so this is a object. Okay, so in this diagram this is a class. This is class. So class is actually right after the colon. Left before column is a object. So this object and this is class. Current saving is object, account is a class. So this is a object only, current saving. Okay, and this is only class, account class. Okay, you can diagram your sequence diagram. You can draw your sequence diagram. Either you use object or object and class or class. Okay, so this is a lifeline, lifeline of the class. The more message involved or event involved in the class, so the longer lifeline will be created. Okay, we go to this sequence diagram example of sequence diagram. So this is a customer. Okay, customer will insert the card, and the card is inserted to the card reader. Card reader pass the information of the account holder to verify their card and send to the card manager. The card manager will check the account number, the validity of the account number. Then customer insert the PIN code, and PIN code will submit to card manager. So card manager again verify the PIN and process the request from the customer. And after the process is completed, so the information is displayed in the window panel. Maybe the process is successful or unsuccessful, and then the card is rejected after the process is completed. So this is a message. Okay, so the message will send between object to another object. So this called interaction diagram. So in UML they call it sequence diagram. Okay, why this sequence diagram is very important, and why we need to draw this sequence diagram? Of course, from the sequence diagram we know or we can create the relationship between the class. So when you look at this, initial class diagram, so we don't have the relationship. So we don't know who relate to and which object is received the message from. Okay, so same as like this one. So we don't know the relationship. So from the sequence diagram, we know that okay, the customer relate to the card reader. Okay, customer will insert the window panel, and window panel will interact to the card manager. Okay, card manager will interact to the card reader. Okay, so this from the sequence diagram we can create the class. We show you here. Sorry. Okay, Okay, this is one example class tag use case sequence diagram. Sorry, sequence diagram. Okay. I show you another one. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Sorry, class. Wait, yeah, I show you the class diagram that I created in the star UML. So I just bought this star UML. Before this, they just give a trial license only. So okay, this one. Okay, never mind, class. Never mind. Okay, so after you discover your object class, so you need to create the basic class diagram. And then after that, you need to create your sequence diagram in order to find the relationship, in order to create the relationship, and also to discover uh, your operation and attribute. Yeah. So this we cover in another chapter, which is chapter 7. Okay. So another thing that I need to highlight here while you create your sequence diagram, so you need to know what is the focus control. Focus control is the uh, focus control represent the relative time that the flow of control is focused in an object. So you see this one example of ATM machine. So the focus control uh, is at the card manager and card reader. So you see the window panel only receive one message from the customer, but card reader got two message, and card manager also receive the uh, two message. So this is a control focus control. This is focus control. Normally the card manager, or they call it controller, got busy transaction, busy request. So the controller will manage all the requests or message. So normally the controller object is a focus control. I show you one example in my projects. This is one of the sequence diagram. Okay, so here, so this is one of the sequence diagram. So you look here, the controller is busy, become busy because it manage a lot of requests, from the order screen. This is example order screen, customer order, and then send to the controller check, and then the controller send to the order table. So this is a focus control. Okay, another thing that I need to highlight to you uh, while you create your sequence diagram, so make sure that you write your message clearly. So let's say here, when the customer insert insert card. Yeah, the message need to focus or need to arrow to the right object. Okay, so this is very useful information for you to discover the attribute and also the operation from the sequence diagram. So uh, this will cover in the chapter 7. I will explain to you how to discover the operation and attribute. Okay, class. I think that's all. How you want to discover your object classes. I already show you in the SSS 1 and SSS 2. Okay, or you can refer to the lab module written by me. Yeah, how to discover the object class from the use case. Okay. Okay. Before we end, so I need to introduce another notation in UML. They call it package. Package is general purpose mechanism for organizing element into group. Okay, so this package is very important, and we will use a lot this notation when we do the high level, when we design the software, especially in the high level design of the application. So we need to architecting the system through model view controller. So this package is very important uh, to present how the application is look like. This is an example. Package ATM interface. That means all the user interface will package under ATM interface package. So that means all a group of class which is handled on the user interface will be put under that package. We call ATM interface. So account management, for example, account management is handle all of the class that involve in the business logic of the ATM machine. And ATM artifact means that a group of table or database. Yeah, they call it persistent database, a persistent data where we want to store the information. So of course in the database. Yeah, so in the database we got lot of tables. So table represent a record, the type of record. uh, for example, a type of record for banking system, a type of record of student information systems. So we group into the one package. So in this case, uh, all type of table or record regarding bank system we package under ATM artifact. This is an example. So you can name your package according to your system. Okay, so this package is very important when we do the system architecture. Yeah. Okay, in summary, there are three class field type, namely controller, entity, and boundary. So remember, when you write your use case description, so please mention these three stereotype. Because why? Because it help you to discover the object and class. So the object classes can be discovered from the use case, as I mentioned before. And use case documentation is important element to describe the system requirement. Of course, for the beginners, it is hard to write the use case description. But when you start with the simple uh, basic flow of the use case, and then you start upgrade your use case description with alternative, exceptional, then I think after 3 or 4 times you repeat and you correct your use case description, I believe that you will expert after 3 or 4 time attempt to refine your use case description. So it's very crucial that the use case is written in precise manner, yeah? That mention the 3 class stereotype. So I told you already that the use case description is very important for you to discover the object class, and this is the beginning of object-oriented design. Yeah. So if you don't know what is the class, what is the object, how to discover the object and class, so I think it's very difficult for you to continue uh, your your analysis modeling and toward to the design modeling. Yeah. So please bear in mind that make sure that you revise, yeah, refine your use case description clearly. Yeah. I hope that you complete your use case description for each of your use case. Yeah. uh, uh, it is very important that if you can divide, yeah, you can structure your use case accordingly from the basic, alternative, and exceptional. Okay, student, I think that's all for the chapter 6. So we continue. We will continue the next chapter, chapter 7, after this video. Okay, thank you very much. So,